Well, we just finished up mitosis in the last video. That was kind of crazy, huh? Crazy, but really important. Now we're going to talk about meiosis, okay? Now once again, remember mitosis was every cell in the body except for sex cells. It's diploid. What does diploid mean? Diploid means it has all of the genetic material. It means we're going to make this other half of the DNA. So all of these cells have all the material. Now, meiosis is pretty easy, or meiosis is pretty easy to understand now that we've talked about mitosis, okay? Now, in meiosis, all right, we have the same thing happening. We have interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, okay? But in meiosis, what happens is whenever we get to telophase, okay, whenever we get to telophase, remember that's like the two cells are almost dividing here, okay, and we've got half of the DNA, okay. You remember we got the adenine, thymine, guanine. Let's just say this was let's just put a G and a C and an A and a T, and that means over here this one was so with G we have a C, C we have a G, A we have a T, and then we have an A. So you remember exactly. So we have this cell dividing here. Well, what do we do in mitosis? We replace the other half of the DNA. It's 2N. It's diploid. It's twice. It's the full amount of DNA. It's both sides of the double helix. 2N, diploid. But in meiosis, it's 1N. So we don't replace the other half of this. Wow. Okay? So the cell goes ahead and divides. Okay? The cell goes ahead and divides. And let's say this is an egg or a sperm. Okay? It is 1N. It only has half. It only has half of the genetic material. Okay? It's 1N. Okay? This cell over here is 2N. Has all of the genetic material. We made the other half of the DNA. But this is 1N. Oh. Okay, you're following this? Is this making sense? It's haploid. Half. Latin name, haploid. Haploid is half. Okay? So it's half of the DNA. Oh, we don't even... Can this cell exist? Yeah, this cell can exist, but not real long. Okay? So this cell keeps dividing. So then we have the egg and the sperm are haploid. Okay? So then when the egg and the sperm, okay, when the egg and the sperm combine in conception, okay, all right, so we have the egg plus the sperm. Together, they form what's called a zygote. Okay? A zygote is the resulting organism. Okay? So if this was, let's go ahead and clean this off here real quick. Okay? So the zygote is a combination of the egg and the sperm. Now, let me ask you this. Let's use some good scientific thinking here. Okay? All right? So let's talk diploid and haploid here. All right? What's the egg? It's haploid. So 1N. Haploid. What's the sperm? 1N. Okay? So these two are haploid. Oh, wow. Okay? Then the zygote, the two combine. Now we've got the whole DNA combination for the new. So now this new resulting baby here that's going into a fetal stage, okay, germinal stage and then a fetal stage, this is 2N. Now this is diploid. Now we have all the genetic material. Now what's even amazing is, okay, is that you start out the zygote. Let me just give you a little bit of human anatomy here. Pretty fascinating. So for 2 weeks, okay, after you have a zygote, okay, for 2 weeks you have what's called the germinal stage, where the cells just grow at random. They're not even specialized. The zygote just grows. Okay, so after 10 days, then that zygote attaches, okay, to the uterine wall of the female. Then it begins to grow. At 8 weeks, we're in the fetal stage. Okay, at 8 weeks, we're in the fetal stage, and after 8 weeks, you are a complete and whole living whole living person. Whole living. You have everything. You have your toes, you have your fingers, you have your eyebrows. Now, are you ready to live? No, you've got to go through that. But at 8 weeks, you are 1 inch long, but you have all of the parts of a human. Isn't that amazing? Okay, that's amazing. So you've got these cells going, and then the cells begin to specialize. All right, and then the cells begin to specialize. So once again, let me kind of reiterate that, because it seems like a lot of information. Okay, so what's happening over here in meiosis? Half of the DNA is from your mom, half the DNA is from your dad. When it comes together, forms what's called a zygote. Okay, forms what's called a zygote. The zygote exists. Okay, the zygote exists in the germinal phase. The germinal phase is from conception to 2 weeks. Okay? And it is rapid cell growth. Okay? Rapid cell growth. Now, this is, once again, it's just absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Because in that germinal stage, that zygote's just getting bigger. It doesn't even attach to the mom's uterine wall. Okay, it doesn't even attach to the mom's uterine wall until after 10 days. Now, this is incredible because the cells aren't even specified yet as to whether or not they're lung cells, heart cells, brain cells. Okay, the germinal phase, the zygote is just growing fast. And then we go, okay, so these are, okay, so once again we have the zygote. And then the zygote goes into the germinal phase. So now the woman has the baby within inside her uterus. After 10 days it attaches to the uterine wall, okay? And then let me extend up here so we can see what we've got. Let me spray that a little bit. So then once again, there's 3 stages. There's 3 stages of fetal development. Okay. And once again, I don't want to make this too complicated, but I want you to understand this because it's critical to biology and critical to life. And then it's fascinating as we talk about this. So now, okay, so now the germinal stage, okay, that's the first step. This is called, let's get a fetal development. Okay, fetal development. Can you see that? Fetal development. Stage 1, the germinal phase. Okay, and then stage 2, okay, let me grab another marker here, and I think some of it is my cleaner here. But stage number 2, all right, stage number 2 is called the embryonic stage. Stage number 2 is called the embryonic stage. This is where we have what's called an embryo. All right, here we go. I think now we're back in business. So stage 2. Embryonic. E-R-Y-O-N-I-C. Okay, so this is the embryonic phase. Okay, so in the embryonic phase, all right, it's 2 weeks to 8 weeks. And at 8 weeks, we are a complete human being, 1 inch long. Wow! The embryonic stage. You know what they say an inch? I don't know if you ever studied this, but the old rule was an inch was from the king's knuckle to the end of his finger was an inch. When they got a new king, they had to change it. So that's when they started making inches. A foot was literally the king's foot. Okay, so then we made that 12 inches. Okay, so in the embryonic stage, now at 8 weeks, the baby is 1 inch long, but it's a complete and whole living organism. We got feet, we got toes, we got toenails, we have fingernails. Wow! That's amazing. Now, here's what we don't understand, and here's the miracle in the process, and this is why it's not just two cells that combine. This zygote that was just a bunch of rapid growing cells, now we have specialized cells. Scientists have no idea how this works. No idea at all. How these cells know then to make eye cells. How a group of cells then begin to make eye cells. Now, say, well, we have the DNA. Yeah, we do. We have the DNA. But as that DNA goes, we don't understand the transcription process of how we begin to make these new cells. But once we do, okay, once we have the eye cells, then we know that the color of the eye cells came from the mom and the dad. We're going to talk about genetics in the next video. So we know all these things came from here, but how they became specialized cells, that's amazing. The DNA and the RNA have a whole lot more going on than we ever understand. And the embryonic phase, 2 to 8 weeks, okay? And then we have the fetal stage, okay? So this is called an embryo, okay? So we're an embryo until 8 weeks, okay? And then in number 3 here, then we have the fetal stage, okay? The fetal stage is 8 weeks to birth, and we continue to grow, to survive outside the womb. So that's what the fetal stage is. We spend the rest of the time, in a 9-month gestation period, okay? After 8 weeks, we begin to grow and grow and grow. So if we have a baby that's not ready to survive in the outside temperature, they might have to be in an incubator when they come in, okay? But the fetal stage just grows and grows until the baby can survive outside the womb. And then the mother gives birth to the baby, and here we go. So the incredible thing is, how did we get to all this? We were in meiosis. Wow, we just went from 2 cells dividing and not doing transcription all of a sudden to a zygote, okay? We went from haploid, this is the key, we went from haploid to diploid, the zygote's diploid, and then we went into the different stages of the growth, okay? So what happens is, even on if you're a nursing student or whatever kind of degree you might have, with college, when you look at biology, a big question is going to be, even in high school, a lot of times you get asked this question, and a lot of standardized tests. I know the ACT test will ask something about this. It's critical. Haploid and diploid. Haploid and diploid. Haploid is sex cells. What does that mean? Half of the DNA. Why do they ask this so much? Because it's so critical to life. Okay. Meiosis is diploid, has all of the DNA. All right. So what is the zygote? Is it haploid or diploid? It's diploid, and that's the whole deal, because now we begin the stages of birth and the stages of life. The germinal phase, what is it? Just rapid growing cells. It's a zygote, okay? It's a zygote, rapid growing cells. And then from conception to 2 weeks, they just grow fast. And then we go from the germinal stage, we go to the embryonic stage, or the embryonic phase. You can call it stages or phases, either one. 2 weeks to 8 weeks, we're at the end, we are 1 inch long, but a complete and whole living thing. And then the fetal stage grows until we can survive outside the womb. So wow, we just did meiosis. We started out with mitosis, meiosis, and then we went through the fetal developmental stages of a baby. Wow, that was quite a video. Okay, see you in the next video.